Ah, Robreak family, how's everybody doing today? Friday finally for the ones that we work, for the ones that like have to work, tomorrow. I'm sorry for that, but it's Friday. The weekend is starting. Jean Paul, myself, said hi to all of you. We want to say thank you to the ones that like are watching all the videos. We've been promoting the channel like as best as we can. We've been putting a lot of videos this week. We have a great Monday Night Raw review with Jean Paul. Everything that took place during the show. Seth Rollins, there's some teases that he might be a heel turn. There might be something there. The show is not moving forward the way we would want it to be, but there's still some little things that like we're seeing that there's little things of improvement. Then we have AEW review also with Jean Paul, an excellent review talking about there's going to be a Jericho and a Moxley. That's the main storyline that they have, and also the show had really great opening match with a six-man tag with the Young Bucks and Dustin Rhodes against Santana Ortiz and Sammy Guevara, the fake Spanish God.
Yep.
The fake Spanish God. And then we did NXT also. So all of those reviews are in the channel. So please check them out. See what you like, what you don't like. Comment, please. We always want your feedback. So right now, today, in this very moment, 23 minutes after the show is over, Jean Paul and I are going to deliver Smackdown on Fox. How was the show for you, Jean Paul?
This
Is it going getting better or still
no
same
this
garbage of every single Friday?
this was so awful. This was worse than Monday Night Raw. This was the worst. I mean, this was awful. I was just looking at the clock, like, when is this show gonna end? Each set, the only good thing was the Bray Wyatt, the stuff with the Fiend, and it wasn't even the Fiend; it was all Bray Wyatt. So that's why it was nice to see, because we always usually get Bray Wyatt, and then it's the Fiend right away. But this was all Bray Wyatt, so it was a nice change of pace. But other than that, the rest of this show was awful. It sucked.
Yeah,
Plain
like
and
the main
simple.
thing with this show, Jean Paul, is like, can it get somewhat better? Can we
Yeah.
see improvement? No, we're seeing the same crap, the same, storylines. There's no development. And the worst thing of all is like we keep seeing the same main event program when it comes
Yeah.
to Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. We've been
Somebody
saying this for weeks.
I saw somebody online, they compared this. They said this is like the John Cena, Randy Orton of the modern day. How we just keep seeing those two, we kept seeing those two just fight over and over and over, and we're so sick of it. Now it's like we see Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
like, I mean, not that you can compare those two to, Cena and Orton, but it's like, exactly. But, it's the same thing where we just keep seeing these matches over and over and we don't care.
but
There's no investment. And look how awful these main events are.
you're right, and the direction of this program is actually going towards children. And
Hmm.
this, to me, is a big contradiction when it comes to what Fox was trying to do. The intention of
Yeah.
Fox to make this show more sports-like. You
Yeah.
drop the UFC for this?
Yeah.
I don't even understand the
That's the thing.
main themes.
Monday Night Raw has a more sports feel, and that even has the fucking bullshit Bobby Lashley, Rusev storyline. So,
If they will take that story out, don't you think that the show will be even better? If they will take that
yeah,
storyline out of
it
the
would
picture
definitely
of
make
Monday
Raw.
Night Raw.
It would definitely make Raw better. There's still a lot of other holes in that ship, that they need to patch, because it's just going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. Just removing that one storyline is not going to save it, but it would at least make it a little better. And speaking of that, they announced that so this is just proves that, SmackDown was awful tonight, and they want Monday Night Raw to follow suit, because there's going to be um, divorce between Rusev
And
and
Lana.
Lana. Yep, that's going to be like a divorce on Raw. So look forward to that.
Oh yeah, we're absolutely
Yeah.
looking forward to that. We're not gonna go to sleep. It's Friday night, but we don't care. We're not going out. We're not gonna enjoy with friends. We're not gonna do anything on the ordinary, out of the ordinary, because we need to see the divorce papers being signed. We need to see all of that, because that's the most interesting story during Monday Night Raw. To me, those things are like the things that are damaging the shows. And see, NXT and Dynamite, they stay away from that crappy storytelling,
Hmm.
soap opera like that we don't really care about, the 18 to 50 demographic. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't understand why these shows, instead of moving forward, they go backwards. like, crap. Like, they keep going backwards and backwards and backwards.
Mhm.
And as a Fox executive, I will already be asking for my money back. Already being like, we gave you so much money. We gave you so many millions for this. The show,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you will
that's
even
that.
say, it's like, it's worse than when it was on USA.
Yeah, and
Completely worse.
that's what I don't get. I don't understand how like the Fox executives they don't aren't stepping in unless they're so stupid and they have no idea what pro wrestling is. Maybe to them this is legit. Who
Yeah,
knows?
but
But
you said, like, if for somebody this is legit, please, check your brain, go to a
mhm.
good psychiatrist, go to a good psychologist, because if you think that this is professional wrestling, you're completely not being alive during Wednesdays. So please, start watching Wednesday, because that's when you actually get professional wrestling.
Exactly.
So Jean Paul, take us through the show, please.
So the show opens up at just like I said, the best angle on SmackDown, the Daniel Bryan Fiend. They show a recap of last week where he says, "Oh, the Yes Movement is dead, but I think the fans, you guys are bringing it back." And he's like, "Am I going to challenge the Fiend again? Yes, 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 all that stuff." When the Fiend comes out, drags him through the ring, is ripping off his hair. So we see all a recap of that. And then we were supposed to get The Miz having a Miz TV again with Daniel Bryan. But he comes out and he says he can't have this because the Fiend, took away Daniel Bryan and he hasn't been seen since. And he says how him and Daniel Bryan aren't friends, but he knows how much Bryan means to SmackDown and how much he means to the show, and that the Miz says that no matter what, even though they aren't friends, he keeps stressing that. I think he says it like 3 times throughout this promo. He says that he's going to find out what happened to Daniel Bryan, and then as soon as he said that, the Firefly Funhouse comes up. Bray says that Miz doesn't want to know what happened to Bryan. He's like, I don't even know what happened to Bryan because they have that thing where it's like the Fiend does stuff and Bryan doesn't, or Bray doesn't even know.
They're two
It's like
separate
yeah,
entities. Yeah, the one doesn't, that is not the same person, but supposedly they have two different personalities. So the one doesn't know what the other one does.
yeah. And then he says he doesn't know if Bryan is done playing with the Fiend. So he's like, I don't think I'll be able to play with him at TLC. And he's like, will you play with me at TLC? So then this was setting up the match for Bray Wyatt against The Miz. And The Miz is like, no, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're trying to sucker me into this. Like, I'm not. He's like, I'm just trying to find out what happened to Daniel Bryan. I got other stuff to worry about. And then that's when the Bray Wyatt then has a picture of Miz's family. And then because Miz says something about his family, and then Bray's like, I used to have a family too. And then it flashes to like Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, Luke Harper when they were all in his family. And then he has the picture of Miz's family, his wife, all the kids. And
Maurice.
yeah, and then he, the Miz starts freaking out and he runs out of the ring, to go towards the back. So then we go to commercial break, and the only reason I bring up the commercial is there was a Ring of Honor commercial. I think it was promoting one of their pay-per-views coming up. I just thought it was weird that there was another wrestling promotion having like a commercial during, on
That's kind of
Fox.
weird. But as far
Yeah,
as I know, Ring of Honor is doing terrible. A lot of wrestlers
yeah,
from Ring of Honor are being released. Marty Squirrel, his contract was up. He's going to be performing December 13th for the last pay per view of Ring of Honor of the year. But that's because
yeah.
they have
I think
worked
that's
out like a small
yeah.
deal with him.
I think that's the one they were promoting
So yeah, I think that
because
that's
they
that
did
that's
say
is
he
going
will
to be
be
his
there.
last
Yeah,
appearance for the promotion. And then there's a lot of rumors. They said he might either go with AEW, they might go to WWE, because WWE promised him that he was going to be a main event player for NXT. But like we talk in our review, there's a lot of people that are having waiting for their shot on NXT. So if I'm Marty Squirrel, the villain, I will just go to AEW. I would just go
yeah,
strictly to AW, be with my friends, be with Jean Paul, be Robert, you know what I mean? Like, be just, with the family, stay within the family. But it's weird though. You are right. Why would you be promoting something else? Although maybe they promote professional wrestling rather than just SmackDown. And when it
yeah.
comes to this storyline, Jean Paul, I feel that there is something going on behind the scenes that we don't know. Either, like you told me, they want to prolong the feud, they don't want to do it right away, or they don't want to keep the same feud for 3 months with Daniel Bryan
Yeah, and
and the Fiend. Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm just gonna bet all the money in the bank that that's what it is, because it was a big thing came out that they said the Fiend is gonna be the Fiend and Daniel Bryan up until the Royal Rumble. Roman's gonna win, and then it's gonna be Roman and the Fiend until WrestleMania. They're gonna book that. Maybe the Fiend will have some, a few matches here and there, but the main feud is gonna be him and Roman. So obviously you can't have him and Daniel Bryan. You can't have Bryan go against him at TLC and lose, because then you lost twice. How are you going to go against them again at the Royal Rumble? So this is just the way to, prolong this feud, and that's all this is. But the one thing I do like is that it's Bray Wyatt and not,
The Fiend.
the Fiend. So maybe we'll get to see, Bray Wyatt in not the red light.
So
Obviously,
we will see.
he won't
So
be in the
that's
Fiend
kind of
gimmick,
like
but
what you're trying to say is like it's not gonna be the Fiend against the Miz.
yeah,
It's
it's going to
actually
be
Bray
Bray
Wyatt
Yeah.
against the Miz. So
That
that's
that
cool.
yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like that's what made it interesting to me, because it's like, oh, it's not the Fiend, so it's not like going to be a clear, there is it now. There's a slight chance that the Miz could win.
Yeah.
Clearly he won't. Storyline wise, it makes zero sense for him to win, but now there's a chance because it's not the Fiend, it's Bray Wyatt, because the Fiend is still playing with Daniel Bryan.
And like you
You know,
said, like it is like they're giving it another twist. They're
yeah,
making it like a separate feud, because it's like the same guy but two separate feuds. Bray
yeah,
Wyatt is going to be the Miz, and then the Fiend is going to be with Daniel Bryan, and we
yeah,
don't know how Daniel Bryan is going to come out.
and
We talked about this in our review from last week. Like he might come out with like no hair, he might come out like completely
Well,
shaved.
when he mentioned his family, when they quick flashed, it showed Bryan. He had the beard and he had the short hair. So I think that that's what they're going to do. I think he's going to come out again in like the prison jumpsuit or whatever he wore before, and he's just going to have the short hair. So I think that that's what they did, because obviously Bryan's hair was long. So I think that that's what they're gonna go for, like that old look with the short hair and the beard.
And I mean, it's hopefully they keep doing this, but like at
Mm.
least is somewhat interesting from all the 2 hours that we get from SmackDown. I think the only interesting theme on the storyline is the Fiend and all the whole twist that they had
No,
given
yeah.
it today because of the Miz. Yet to me, TLC is going to be going to be a really bad pay per view. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think that is bringing or generating any interest. Like it was announced, I feel that like Roman and Baron Corbin are gonna be
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
TLC
yeah,
match
yeah.
or
That's
what?
a match. There's the Bobby Lashley Rusev match. There's then obviously now the Fiend or Bray Wyatt and the
Why with the
Miz. And I don't think there's any, but I don't know who. Ray Mysterio is going against AJ Styles on Monday in a one-on-one rematch for the title. So I think Rey Mysterio is going to win that. So then I don't know who Rey Mysterio goes against, what storyline you do with that, because there's so many guys, but then nobody was the clear number one
the clear number
guy.
one
Yeah,
contender. We have the
yeah,
tease from Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. That might be another match right there.
yeah.
And like you said, for example, like we don't have the WWE champion because the same called People's Champ Brock
Mhm.
Lesnar is not going to be with us until the Royal Rumble. So the WWE Championship is not going to be defended. So we don't know what it's going to be about. So the main event probably, if the main event, here's my prediction: if the main event is Reigns against Corbin, the pay per view is going to be an absolute waste of our times.
Oh, well, that's going to be the main event. The second last match is going to be Bray Wyatt and The Miz, and then the main event is going to be Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin.
Which is so
Absolutely.
trashy. So trashy
But
because how about like can we give the Universal Championship any relevance? Can
mm,
can that close the show rather than Roman? Because I
well,
don't
like,
know.
it will when Roman has it.
Yeah,
Once
oh well,
once he, once he's
yeah.
once he's wearing it, then it will.
Well, once he carries it, like like
Yeah,
he's carrying like the Christmas bag, like he's Santa Claus, and he has the
yeah. Or
bag on his
carrying like
shoulder.
his backpack in high school
Yeah,
over
like
his
his
shoulder.
backpack.
Yeah,
I mean, I wish that my backpack would look like a belt at
uh,
least, but you know how it is. So moving along with that
yeah.
with that
So then
storyline.
after we come back from the commercial, Miz is on the phone with his wife. He's telling her, "Hey, calm down. I'm packing up my bags. I'm coming home. Lock the door, set the alarm. But he's like, I have to take care of stuff here, and I'll be right home." And then we get our first match of the night, and this pretty much set the whole fucking tone of the show. Mandy Rose versus Alexa Bliss.
The goddess is back, baby.
It's the first match of the night. I'm not even going through this. Both women, I can do more moves in the ring than both these women combined, and I haven't even stepped foot in a wrestling ring once in my entire life. The Towards the end of this thing, Sonya Deville's up on the apron, and Alexa Bliss, she gets up in her face, and Sonya jumps down. Nikki hits her with a crossbody. Mandy Rose, I don't even know how she gets slammed down. I think Alexa Bliss, I don't know what she does. It's just maybe her slam where she grabs her by the hair and throws her down, and she hits a twisted Bliss for the win. So that's pretty much it. It all came off this distraction at the end. There was, like I said, the women don't have good offense. Mandy Rose was just saying how Alexa Bliss is ugly and she'll never be as pretty as her. She ripped off her fake eyelashes. Like, it was just a bullshit fucking match.
Which I'm absolutely against that statement because the goddess is so beautiful and I'm so glad that like she won. But of course she's limited in the ring. I don't even know what they want to do with her. This is what I've been thinking about saying to you, all the family, and Jean Paul. There's not really anything to do with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
Because
because she
why would you
sucks.
put her in a major program again? Why?
She needs to just be like a fucking manager.
It will be a lot better if she becomes, complete, of course, complete heel, and then she turns into a manager and she manages somebody. Because like even she in a
She
tweet,
could even manage like Nikki Cross in a singles role and then interfere.
yes,
In
that will be
matches.
much better.
Yeah,
That would be much better
but
because there was a guy tweeted her and she said, "I remember when you used to deliver great promos," and she said, "Yeah, I miss those times when I could actually talk more." Because right now, what would you do with her knowing that she's so injury prone?
hmm
Like she can't even take really stiff
yeah, and I'm
bombs or
not even
anything.
worried about the injury prone. Like I said, she just sucks in the ring, dude. She just can't do anything.
And yeah, there's no any evolution of her. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah. There's
improvement.
no desire. She has no desire to get better. At least she like works out and works on like her her muscle tone and all that other shit. But not she's not trying to do any more moves because management doesn't force her to.
Yes, and that's the
Because
thing. Like,
because
what
all
would
they
you do
care
with
about
her?
is
What do you do
how
with
she
her?
looks. Yeah. I mean,
What
my vote is to get rid of her. Brandy Rhodes wants her in AEW so she can have her.
I wouldn't be upset if she's on Dynamite, like with Awesome Kong. It would be a great tag team, bringing the title, the women's tag team AEW Championship. But that's only me. See, Jean Paul is already hating. So we're gonna turn the page to the next segment.
So the next segment, we get Dana Brooke is standing there, and that's the one. Dana Brooke got herself over with his whole Dave Batista thing. She was on that backstage, the bump or whatever the hell that garbage show is. She was on that. Backstage is decent. The bump is bullshit. So she was on that talking about her and Dave Batista are dating, but Drake Maverick comes up to her and he says how, why are you going out with Batista? And he's like, didn't we have, what about what we had last week? And she's like, what are you talking about? We had nothing last week. And he's like, what do you mean? What do I have that Batista doesn't have? And then Elias comes out and he plays a song. And I didn't write what was in the song, but it was actually pretty funny. He just like, he cuts up Drake Maverick, and it wasn't like one of his cringy songs where he just shits on the town. He was, making fun of Drake Maverick because he's short and all this other stuff. Like I said, it was actually pretty funny if you go look it up on YouTube. Um, and then when it's over, Maverick punches Elias, and the one thing that he closed the song with, he says that he's like, "You're the best I've ever had," and that's like what your wife said when she was leaving Elias's house or something like that. So he punches
That's
him,
legit.
and then Dana Brooke, because she's like a fucking airhead moron, she's like, "Did you really sleep with his wife?"
Hmm.
And he's like, "No, but I'm gonna do something now." And then he runs off to the ring, and then we get Drake Maverick in the ring, and he says that, do all the fans think this is funny? They think it's funny how Elias makes fun of him, and he's like, what's wrong with you guys? Do you really think this is funny? And then the crowd breaks out into yes chants, and then he says that no one makes a mockery of him or his wife or his marriage. He's like, I'm not out here to wrestle. I'm out here to fight. So Dana Brooke and Elias come out, and I mean, Elias just embarrasses him. He does the thing where he like holds his arm straight out and holds his hand on Drake Maverick's head, and he's like spinning his arms in like a windmill motion, and he can't
Please
hit him
don't do
because he's
that to
so
me, okay?
short.
Don't
I,
ever do
I,
that to me.
well, not on camera.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That please don't do that on camera. Yeah,
Maybe
but it will look exactly alike. But anyway,
yeah, rope break behind the scenes. But I
Yeah,
mean,
when we fight, yes.
yeah, so he does all this shit, and then he, throws him out of the ring, and he like punts him out of the ring, but before that, he bends him over his knee and starts spanking him.
So see, that's
That's I mean, this is like what we have to see. Like, we can't see a lot. Like, why couldn't they have a legit match? At the end of this, he hits the drift away, and then Dana Brooke stands on top of him, and Elias counts a 1, 2, 3, and it's like, what is Drake
what are we
Maverick?
watching?
Yeah,
That's the moment that you just ask yourself, what are we watching? That's why you want to change the channel because okay, it's Friday night. If you actually home, you would rather see something that is going to be enticing, correct? And this to me,
I would rather watch literally anything. I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch the inside of my eyelids, not even be asleep, just have my eyes closed and just lay there, wide awake,
yeah,
but my eyes. You know what I mean? It's like this
exactly.
show is so bad. It started off decent. The Miz, that got me interested. Oh, the Miz versus Bray Wyatt. They're gonna continue, like, prolong the feud with Bryan. It's all interesting, and then we get that awful women's match. We get this awful segment, and
It's just, of course, it kills the mood. It completely kills the
and
mood.
the one thing coming up is Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler with Baron Corbin.
Oh,
So,
like, you
so
know,
even though, like, we see these awful segments, it's only going to get worse.
oh yeah, and especially Roman, at least in the and during the early fall and everything, there was a storyline with Buddy Murphy, the story with Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan involved. Like Roman was in the mid card, not in the main event. So you
Mm.
were actually seeing Roman in a different
Yeah,
light. You
and
were
those
seeing being
stories
booked different.
those stories were actually interesting. What is the story with Baron Corbin? Why are they fighting?
And that's what I mean. Like,
because
okay,
Vi-
why
because
do you need to keep prolonging this?
Because Vince loves both of them. A perfect analogy is all these wrestlers are like his fucking toys, and he's like, "This is my favorite good guy action figure, and this is my favorite bad one," and he just clangs them together, and it's like, why? What is your purpose? It's like it doesn't make any sense. It's what he wants to do, and that's what we have to deal with.
Once again, if I'm a Fox executive, I would be like, give me my money back and don't you ever air this show on my networks again. Because
Hmm.
it's terrible, it's not delivering anything good. And, like, you see how much effort NXT puts. You see how much effort even AEW, they go at each other. But
Hmm.
imagine this. Imagine SmackDown going against AEW. How different life will be if that would have been the show chosen to go
Yep.
against AEW. Because you
I
know
mean,
that's
but see, I mean, that it would have been legit. I hate that AEW had to pick Wednesday. I wish they would have picked a different night, because then if you would have picked Monday or Friday, you would have forced one of those shows to be better. Instead, they've already forced the show that was great to be even better. They
yes,
just they just made NXT like, an 8 or a 9 out of 10, to like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. They
absolutely.
just
For
made
example,
NXT better instead of making one of the shitty shows better. So they just made their biggest competition stronger. That's all they
exactly,
did.
like Dre Maverick, why you even have him there?
Yeah. That's
Elias is good, see, but cash in with Elias, make him better because Elias he has the ability to play babyface and heel because of the guitar of the gimmick. It allows him to especially when, like you said, the stuff that he says in the songs, the lyrics is funny, so people get invested in him. But use him, put him in, against Nakamura, a good
yeah,
program
well,
right there
I
for
don't
the
know why
IC
they I don't
title.
know why they couldn't just have a legit match.
Exactly.
Just give them, like, 5, 6, 7 minutes, have a legit match. Drake Maverick's a wrestler. He's a good wrestler. It's not like
Yeah,
he's just a little guy who's like Hornswoggle.
no,
He can
they could have
legit
had a
go.
match, and then but don't have the spanking thing. Like,
Hmm.
why? Once again, am I like a freaking 10-year-old that is gonna enjoy
Yep.
that? Especially again, one on a Friday night. We
Mm.
said this, the week 2 weeks ago. We've been saying this. This is supposed to be a show that like is gonna force people to stay in your house on Friday night, and you keep insisting with this kind of stupid storylines, way
Oh,
more than childish.
I wouldn't even doubt if this show has the lowest ratings of SmackDown. I don't
In
know.
Fox or
Like, well,
ever.
yeah, I would say ever. The lowest SmackDown ratings ever, because this show is awful.
And what is going to
Uh,
be the excuse?
yeah.
Oh yeah, you're going to say what? You're going to say what now?
They're gonna.
We just
I wouldn't even
improve
doubt
your
if they
freaking
say
show.
they're gonna blame the tribute to the troops, because this show, it was a lot of, oh, what happened last week? They showed recaps from last week at least 2 or 3 times. They showed 2 tribute to the troops highlights throughout this show. So there was a lot of just like filling dead air because they didn't have matches or promos. They just filled the time with recaps. But moving on, then we get the Miz. He's getting ready to leave and he sees a room with a red light. So he goes in to check this out, and the only thing in the room besides this red light is just a little table, and it's a picture of his family, the one that Bray had before. He picks it up, and now Bray's face is over his. So he's looking at this picture, and then Bray jumps out of nowhere, hits the sister Abigail on the floor, laughs off, and he's like, there's no place like home for the holidays. And then he leaves. So like it's setting up like Bray's going to his house. So then I get, like I said, then this is the first time they show highlights for the tribute to the troops with, I'm not going to shit on that. That's good for the troops. But like they showed highlights for it twice in the show. Like I said, they're just trying to fill up airtime because they couldn't write anything.
Yeah,
and like they don't know how to write a good show.
We even mentioned this like yesterday. We said airplane mode. They want to get over the Christmas season. They want to start the new year. And then, of course, then is when they start actually, okay, let's build up for the Royal Rumble. Let's get excited again.
And speaking of the autopilot mode, so then we get the New Day. They come out, and this was the only, like, legitimate match of the night. The New Day come out to guest commentate for a fatal 4-way elimination match to determine the #1 contender. And then when they announced the teams, I was a little bit like, oh, okay, like we'll see where they go here. It was Mustafa Ali and Chad Gable versus the Lucha House Party. So I was like, all right, well, there's the job team already versus the Revival and Heavy Machinery. So I'm thinking, give Heavy Machinery the rub, let them, and then make them the new tag team champs because nobody wants to see the New Day. But I mean, this was a decent match for an elimination, fatal 4-way tag team elimination match, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Definitely the best match on the night. To kind of run through it here quick, Gable and Metalik start the match. Ali tags in, and this is Grand Metalik and Ali. They both do a lot of dodging each other's moves, and they're showing each other up with like flips and handstands, bouncing off the ropes, just trying to get the crowd like really involved and hot in the beginning of the match. Tucker tags in, and so does Lince Dorado. The Revival comes in, and they try to, beat up the two guys because nobody's tagging them in, and they're getting frustrated. So they get a drop kick from Lince and Tucker. And then Lince hits a rebound, handstand, stunner kind of. He does like a handstand, and he bounces off the ropes. And then when he flies backwards and he hits his feet, he's like jumping backwards and hits a stunner. So that was a pretty good move. Like all these guys in the Lucha House Party are talented. They just
they're great.
Get jobbed out.
Great. But treated like shit. Treated like absolute shit.
So then the Lucha House Party, the two members, Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik, they both jump and they tackle everybody that's on the ramp side of the ring because the Revival is on the other side, but they take out like Gable and Ali. And I think they take out one of the, or maybe they take out the Revival, but Heavy Machinery is still over there. There's one team they didn't take out. But then, it was Heavy Machinery because then Metalik, he rolls back into the ring. He's the legal man. He takes the trash compactor. So then he's eliminated with Lucha House Party. And then we go to a commercial break. And then when we come back, they say during the break, the Revival was attacking Otis. Otis fights off Dawson's attack. Wilder tags in. But Otis hits the worm on Dawson anyway, so he hits it on the man who's not legal. Wilder rolls up Otis then, and then Heavy Machinery is eliminated. And once Heavy Machinery was eliminated, I knew, you had the makeshift team of Ali and Gable. They weren't going to win because that's not a legitimate team. WWE's not going to try to push them as a legitimate team, even though you could. Just put them together, start giving them some wins because you have no tag teams. You do, but you either break them up or you do nothing with them and they're like lost in catering or they're jobbed out that no one believes them. These are at least two guys who people believe in a little bit. So you could do something with them, but in the end here, towards the end, Gable, he tags in and he gets the ankle lock on Wilder. But as Wilder's crawling towards the rope, he like flings his leg forward and he throws Gable towards the rope. Dawson uppercuts him, and then He tags in Dawson. They hit the Shatter Machine on Gable for the win. So, like I said, as soon as Heavy Machinery was out, I knew it was going to be the Revival. And I feel like they're just going to give the belts back to the Revival. So they just took them out of Survivor Series just to fuck us.
Just because, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because.
And, you know, like I said, this was the best match of the night for sure, but it was very predictable to me once Heavy Machinery got eliminated. And then afterwards, the New Day, they call out, or the Revival calls out the New Day, and they say that, you know, you guys, you know, there's going to be no more New Day. It's going to be the old day. We're going to go back, you know, their same old shtick. You know, we wrestle the old style, this and that. Like the same old shit that we've heard time and time before.
Yeah.
So,
and I absolutely agree with you. What really bothers me from this thing is like they took the Revival out of the Survivor Series match for no reason. And that really, really bothers me. There was no reason that they should not have that match at the Survivor Series. And now they want to give the titles back to them. Just because. You know, we've been seeing this program for weeks, for months. You know, ever since Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell, Night of Champions, you know, Survivor Series, Crown Jewel, all of those pay-per-views have gone, and we still have the same two teams fighting for that title. Like you said,
that's what I said. I don't know why Heavy Machinery couldn't get the rub here.
It should have been Heavy Machinery because it's like you're gonna close the year. Is the last pay-per-view of 2019? Why can't they have at least a title match on a pay-per-view?
Yeah, and you know, yeah, even though it's two babyface teams, do you know how big a pop that would be if Heavy Machinery won?
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially like start the year fresh with new faces, with new people. Heavy Machinery is the one that should be the team that should get the tag team titles to actually make them interesting.
Or do you know what you could? You know what you could do that would be interesting? That you have their fucking shitty jobber music. The Lucha House Party comes out with their pinatas. They bust the pinatas over their knees and they start, you know, mouthing off to the fans, giving them the finger, doing whatever. Not actually giving them the finger because they probably get in trouble. But you know what I mean? Acting heel and turn the Lucha House Party heel and do something with them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they come out as baby faces and they're essentially like the New Day called them actually when they were coming out. The New Day are like, oh, they remind us of a young New Day. They throw candy to the crowd like we throw pancakes. And it's like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? You're comparing them.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stupid.
And the one good thing about what the New Day did say is they did call them. They said there's, you know, when it goes back to the old day, there's going to be no more stupid pancakes, no more power of positivity, no more unicorns, no more of pretty much no more of this bullshit. So I hope they win, and I feel they're just going to win because they're so scared of them leaving. When in reality, like I said, just move these guys to NXT and they'll be happier than being the SmackDown champions.
You know what Ciampa said. You know that what Ciampa said is like, if you guys move me to the main roster, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna retire. So that's a big statement, and it tells you if you put me in the main roster, I'd rather be out. So that's and it's so understandably so. Why? Because look what they do with the Revival. Look what they do with the New Day. Look what they do. If I say why do they do with the New Day? Of course, they keep giving them the same shtick. Turn them heel, make them interesting again. To me, they've been dead for the past 2 years. Of course, Kofi being the WWE champion, but it was a different thing. But then Kofi, Big E and Xavier, they just have to be under the shadow of Kofi.
Yep.
And then Kofi, of course, loses the championship in 4 seconds, and right away, like you said, he never got a rematch. He never got another chance to actually challenge for a rematch. So, thank you, Kofi. Here's like your 4 months of like
right back in the tag division, which I mean, you could blame that. You know, Xavier Woods did get hurt. Obviously that wasn't a plan, but you know, you could still do something where, hey, put Big E in a singles role, and you know, put these guys in singles roles. But that's the thing; they were so desperate for tag teams because they have none.
It's like you said, like all the tag teams are in AEW, the good ones, and they haven't been able to create. That's the main point that WWE refuses to change, and that's the one thing that they should. They refuse to create new things. It's like Disney. It's like every other major company. They just rather to rely on the past. So anyway, moving along.
So then we get highlights last week from Reigns and Bobby Roode match, and how Roman crushed Ziggler and Roode. They really sell that point, how Roman was like unleashed and he went crazy and destroyed the two men. It's like, yeah, because both these guys aren't former world heavyweight champions, you know, just job them out, make them look Yeah,
Treated
make
like
them look
trash.
like shit.
That's all they are.
And then Kayla Braxton, she interviews Roman. She asks if Ziggler will get the same thing that Rude got. He says that Corbin can't embarrass him. He pretty much just like ignores what Kayla asked him. And he says even though Corbin is bigger and stronger than he is, that in the ring, he's a dog that Corbin can't handle. So he pretty much just says like he's going to handle his business with Ziggler, but then he just immediately addresses Corbin, and that's his main concern. And then moving on from that, we get another Sheamus promo, which, I mean, I love Sheamus, so this was probably the second best thing of the night along with The Fiend. It's pretty much the same promo he cut last week. He says how everyone who he has faced in the past, all the great titans of SmackDown are now just a shadow of their former selves. And he says that he's here and he's come home and he will ravage everyone and anyone in his path. So, I mean, it's cool to see it. And I would like to see, I actually thought, because WWE, they posted online, who will Sheamus's first match be against? And it was like The Fiend, Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan. I thought it was going to be something where you did him and him and against Baron Corbin, and then you had Roman Reigns there because you knew that Sheamus is gonna get a pop when he comes back. So why not pair him with Roman in a tag team match against like Ziggler or somebody so he can ride off that, positive wave from Sheamus.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like they were gonna do, but nothing with Sheamus yet, just another promo. And then
I'm thinking
go
maybe
ahead.
TLC. Maybe TLC. He will show up then. Yeah.
But then we get Lacey Evans versus Haley Jones. Who's Haley Jones? Nobody knows. How did this match end? A woman's right. Were you surprised? No. The main thing comes after the match.
Sasha and Bailey.
Yeah, Sasha comes out and she says that they have business to take care of, and she says Lacey got lucky last week. She just caught her off guard with that women's right, and she says that she's the best, of SmackDown. She's the boss, and that Lacey Evans should never mess with them again. And she says, you can't even raise your stupid 6-year-old kid right. And Lacey's like, well, let me stop you right there. Don't you ever talk about my kid, blah, blah, blah. I used to be a Marine and all this other shit. And every time the crowd cheered, it immediately cut to all you saw was Sasha's face and the ramp and the Tron. You never saw the crowd. Then it would cut to Lacey Evans and the crowd would be dead. And she would talk, and as soon as it would cut to Sasha, huge cheer for Lacey Evans. Was it fucking Kevin Dunn just working his magic, putting the chant in? I'm going to say more so than yes, because I don't know how anybody.
Very likely, correct?
I don't know how
likely.
anyone is behind Lacey Evans. To me, she's like, her gimmick is not good. I don't care for her. She's decent in the ring to some extent. Her finisher is awful. It's like the KO punch.
Yes, yeah, and I agree with you. It's bad, and the one thing is also like it wouldn't be surprising to see Kevin Dunn doing this kind of things because even AEW is having some sound issues on Wednesday. So you see that that myth or that thing that we've said before is that they actually add sounds or
so clearly they can control the sound.
They can do that so easily. So they will not. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to be the case, just because Lacey Evans, her character is dead in WWE. He started out in the wrong food because why? They put her against Becky Lynch, and of course Becky Lynch went over her all the time.
Well, not just even that. Before that, she was in NXT for like the blink of an eye, and then Vince McMahon saw her, and it was done. And he called her up.
Blondie.
Yeah, he called her up, and it was done. So, but this segment ends. She fakes another punch at Sasha, another women's right. And Sasha like shrieks and falls to the ground, acting like her cowardly heel that she does. And Lacey, laughs it off and walks up the ramp, like, doing her strut like she's, the king shit. And then Bailey jumps her, knocks her down, and her and Sasha start beating her up. And then the heels stand there tall. So obviously just continuing this feud that we don't care about. And I swear to God, if Lacey Evans beats Bailey, like to me, Lacey Evans has to lose this. If any of these two women lose, it's like, then I hope they're on the first fucking ship out of here to any other company.
Yeah,
because neither of them deserve to lose to Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans does not need to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. If anything, out of all the women that you have, I will go with Nikki Cross because she's at least talented. She
Mm.
can hold herself. If, for example, they break up the friendship that she has with Alexa Bliss, mainly because I don't think that like Alexa Bliss is doing any favors if they try to push that as a tag team.
Yeah, I mean,
Because again,
I'm gonna
the main
book a th-
program with the Kabuki
yeah.
Warriors is already dead.
I'm gonna book something right here for you. You make Alexa Bliss her manager, and she could, help manage Nikki. Like you said, she becomes the champion, and Alexa Bliss could start holding the belt and all this other shit. And Nikki's like, "Oh, Alexa, it's my belt," and she's like, "Well, I helped you win it. It's my belt too." And then they kind of feud, and maybe Alexa has
Exactly.
one more match. Nikki beats her. That friendship is done, and then Alexa just slowly moves and just post pictures on Instagram for you and everyone else to like, and
Especially
then
for
that
me. Make sure
yeah,
that she says this for me. Make
and
sure.
then that that is good, but that's what I would do. That's how I
For
would book
example,
it.
see, that will generate interest. See,
Mhm.
please, Jean Paul, can you go and apply to WWE? That
No,
would be really
they
cool.
don't want me because I have good ideas.
Yeah,
They only want yes men.
no, yeah. There's
But
this one because like I would really enjoy that because see, like I really enjoy that part that like yeah, there's always my title. Well, I hope you win it, and then that becomes like a program for the title, maybe for like a Royal
mhm.
Rumble, and not even maybe an Elimination Chamber. Okay, many of you will say yeah, WrestleMania is way too much for that kind of a match. Yes, but at least it will be better than this Lacey Evans against Bailey and Sasha.
Yeah,
Especially like you said, because Lacey Evans doesn't even show any of her moves, rather than she's a decent wrestler, but the women's right is not convincing enough to be a finisher.
no,
I wouldn't mind the moonsault, but not a women's right, especially saying, "Oh my God, my punch." So what is that punch different than any other punch that she throws?
yep, that's what I mean.
Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
the
there's
show
the
lacked
logic gap.
a lot of everything.
And
You know,
then if it couldn't get any worse, then we get to
main
the
event time,
main event. Roman
main event.
Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler. This match started off slow and boring. Lots of headlocks, chin locks by Ziggler. He's just trying to wear down Roman. He throws him into the steps on the outside. Both men are back in the ring after the commercial. Roman, he hits his face on the turnbuckle. Michael Cole, oh my God, I think he might have broken his nose. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, clearly his nose isn't broke. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the commentary oversells shit too much. And it's like,
And
that.
we know it's Michael Cole, so that
Yeah.
even makes it worse. Because
Yeah.
of course we know that like McMahon is right there in his ear telling
Mm,
you gotta oversell this, you gotta
yep.
oversell this, Corey.
Yeah.
Make sure that Roman looks great.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, I mean, and it's like you dealt with this shitty show, and then to get to the main event, and it's like, oh my God, and then
And also Jean Paul, how many times have we seen this match already?
exactly,
Dolph Ziggler
there's
and Roman,
what,
we've seen this thing,
yeah,
so many times. Even like last year we saw that because when there was the Shield against Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Corbin or Lashley or
mhm.
Strowman, we saw this thing so many times, and in the end, this match ended like any other match that these two have ever had. So
You know what I want to see. I'm gonna book this right now, and to me, I think this would be the best thing for everybody involved. Ziggler got his ass. Ziggler, he spoiler alert, Ziggler lost this match, but he stood tall at the end because of what they did to Roman. We'll get into that when we get there. But I would have it where next week, maybe Ziggler gets his ass beat again. He gets his receipt, and you have at TLC that Corbin's like, "Oh, Bobby, Dolph, you guys are going to be out there, have my back, right?" They should be like, "Fuck you, dude. Since we teamed up with you, all we did was get our ass beat. We're not teaming up with you." And then I would even have it that they beat his ass. They beat Corbin and he's out of here. And then Roman could be like, "Well, I'm here for a fight. Who am I going to fight?" Boom, Sheamus's music hits.
yes,
Sheamus,
see,
and then that would be a legit match.
and make
I mean,
Sheamus win.
it would
Make
be
Sheamus
legit.
win.
Well, they never. Well, see, that's the thing I didn't think of because they're not gonna have Roman lose.
But you see,
But
that's
like,
to me. That's when like Roman's
but like Roman
character
could
becomes
still
crappy.
lose. Yeah,
You
he
know
could
that's
still lose
that's the bullshit
because
with Roman.
yeah, he could
Have
still
him
lose
lose.
here. He could lose here because he's gonna win the Royal Rumble. You could be anybody and win the
And
Royal
that's
Rumble.
what I
So
mean. You don't need Super Roman one
mm,
more time.
yeah,
You see the situation that is just happening with Seth Rollins. The guy's stale. The guy is absolutely frustrated because he thought he was going to be the number one guy. He's not the number one guy. Everybody just does not like Seth Rollins right now. He's getting go away heat. Nobody wants to see Seth Rollins, and you're doing the same thing with Roman already in SmackDown. Why
Hmm.
you have to push an agenda with two guys, knowing that these two guys are not capable enough to carry shows? Roman has
Exactly.
done that, years ago. If it's not for the cancer thing that he had, he would never been cheered. We both know
Hmm.
that.
Oh yeah.
That's what happened.
And also, how do you have CM Punk? He comes out and he says that whole puppy dog or Chihuahua thing, whatever,
God,
that was bullshit. And Vince McMahon apparently wasn't, he wasn't too happy that CM Punk said that. How do you continue this story? How is this story not dead and buried immediately?
to the point
Unless
that CM Punk, I don't think he's been in backstage for the past 2 weeks, right?
no, he's going to be on this Tuesday now. They said he's going
But
to
see,
be coming back.
like for example,
Yeah,
they don't even have him on a regular basis because they
yeah,
probably had to have a conversation with him. Hey, dude, can you please don't say this? Can you please don't say that? Can you please don't not be calling these people
yeah.
this? No,
He,
pretty
but
much,
he,
like when
yeah,
we go to work. Hey, can you
yeah.
please not do the
Yeah,
whole
but it's
checklist?
like, when you hired him, he said what he was going to say, and it's like that's your problem for writing shitty shows because he said he's going to call out when it's shitty and he'll tell you it's good when it's good. That's just like what we
And
do,
and,
and
and
everyone else does.
and that's what
But
I mean, Jean Paul. That's what I mean. Like, and of course, this match ended. Like you said, spoiler alert: Roman won. Wonder
yeah,
how?
so
Wonder how?
Corbin's up on the apron because he interferes. Partway through this match, he comes out and he has a bunch of people carrying him on his throne. So he's up on the apron. He eats a punch. I don't know if it's a Superman punch or just a regular punch because they all look the fucking same. So he punches Corbin off the apron, and then he hits a spear on Ziggler. Like you said, how did he do it? The spear. So then 1, 2, 3,
Can
done.
somebody ever kicked out from that freaking spear?
Did
No one.
Lesnar? I thought he.
Besides Lesnar, no one
Yeah,
else.
I think Lesnar did.
And
Maybe.
Strowman.
Did Strowman? I
Yeah,
know
well,
Strowman kicked out of the Superman punches,
but
but
like, but he,
everyone does.
you know,
But
and then of course, well, first of all, also, why Baron Corbin needs to come up like he's a king? That
hmm
tournament meant jack shit. It doesn't do anything for anybody.
yeah,
So why in the doop they
hmm
do those things? I'm just tired of see Baron Corbin, King Corbin. Oh my gosh, really? Really? Is he going to challenge for a championship? Are we going to see the Fiend against Baron Corbin or something? No. Of course, you got to put it with Roman.
yeah. That's what I mean. Like the King of the Ring. It was back in the day when you won the King of the Ring, you were slated to soon be the guy. It was like, oh, this is the up and coming star. Clearly, Baron Corbin's not an up and coming star. He might be to Vince McMahon or whoever backstage, but clearly the fans aren't behind him. To do that, you would have had to give it to like a Chad Gable or Mustafa Ali or a McIntyre, someone who the fans are
Thank
actually
you.
behind, and then push
Thank
them.
you.
But they give it to
Chad
Corbin.
Gable should have been the one. Chad Gable
But
should have been.
so then after this match,
It
Corbin
seems like the
attacked.
big dog Jean Paul
Yeah,
was hungry
yeah,
because they lock and they put him in a
yeah. They
and
handcuff
they
him.
handcuffed the big
Yeah,
dog
they
because he was
beat it.
hungry.
Yeah, they beat him down. So of course he had like eight. Corbin had like 8 dudes or something like that. 6 dudes carry him to the ring. Roman beats all them up because they're just job enhancement talent, PC guys. So he beats them all up, and then
8 men though. Eight
yes,
men, Jean Paul.
well yeah, it's Roman, Superman. So
Yeah.
then. So then Ziggler and Corbin eventually they overpower him. They handcuff him to the ring post, and they get the cans of dog food. And this is how they were going to embarrass him. I thought they were going to embarrass us with this fucking match. I thought that's how they were embarrassing us.
That's most
Because I was
embarrassing
like,
than
I was like,
actually the
I was,
food.
I was like, this show is embarrassing. Like you said, we sacrificed a Friday night to do other things, to go to the bar, to hang out with friends, to do whatever. Sacrifice it to watch this show, and then this is it. This is like embarrassing. It's like this is a joke. Like, haha, I'm being pranked. So
Well,
they
yeah.
they
I
get
being punked. I
yeah,
being punked like with Ashton Kutcher. Yeah,
yep, they
actually,
get
yeah. Then the wrestlers are gonna come out, and I said, no,
yep,
no, no. We're just kidding, dude. We're gonna put
yeah,
something legit for you. But they
yeah,
never came out.
yeah. We're just kidding. Here's AEW Dynamite. Here's NXT. But
Yeah.
they take the cans of dog food and they pour it all over him. And I mean, he is it looked like somebody threw up on him.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
completely covered in dog food. He's just standing there, and that's how the show goes off the air. And that lasting image. If you were like, how was SmackDown last night? Like, if you missed it last night, you're waking up tomorrow morning, you're like, how was SmackDown? Just look at that picture of Roman covered in dog food. That was SmackDown.
That's what I'm going. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, if I am the one of the people that supports the societies to like against dog violence, and they rescue dogs, I will call WWE and be like, why in the hell you're wasting dog food? Can you please not waste dog
Yeah,
food
I'll be like,
on this
can
kind
you
of
don't
crap?
waste dog food and don't waste our time and
Don't
don't,
waste our times on this. Oh yeah, are you the big dog? Oh yeah, you're the big dog, and you just start like pouring the dog food all over Roman Reigns. Why do you need to do this? And of course, Roman, like, at the end when the show is going off the air, oh whoa whoa, and then
yeah.
can we get a better ending? These two shows, I absolutely supposedly main roster, they're absolute garbage. And good thing for Eric Bischoff for living.
Hmm.
He probably saw how messed up the situation
Yeah.
is, and I'm sorry, I'm not being part of this joke.
Well, I would, and
Uh,
you got to think like Paul Heyman. He like you don't want to shit on Paul Heyman because it's clearly not all his fault. But at the same time, like you said, he should have had the same brains as Eric Bischoff and been like, dude, I'm out of here. I'll do
oh yeah,
Lesnar. I'll do Lesnar's bit if you need me to, but that's it. Because how many guys did Heyman want to get over? Cedric Alexander. Reported Cedric Alexander is done. That is
dead
official. Vince McMahon is done with him.
running for that freaking 24/7
Yep.
title.
Ricochet done. Ricochet is like,
Superhero.
yeah, he's barely in the main event, but he's paired with guys who Humberto Carrillo. Humberto's done. Vince McMahon
Done.
hates him. He's done. Which I don't know how you can hate someone after 3 or 4 weeks. How do you
Yeah,
expect
I
someone
know.
to be the next John Cena after 3 weeks?
I know.
Did
I don't
people
know what
cheer?
Vince's
Did
expectations are.
people cheer Bret Hart in his first 3 weeks? Did people cheer Shawn Michaels when he first came out? Not the way they cheered him
No,
when he was the fucking champion.
no,
So
no.
that's what I
That's
mean.
what I
That's
mean.
I don't understand. Like, how do you expect these guys to come out day one and be cheered when you have them lose as well?
Did did
It's not like back in the day when people debuted and they won their first 5, 6 matches to get established. People debut and they lose.
And I'm gonna make even a better one. Did Rocky Maivia become the Rock in the first 3 weeks?
No, die Rocky die. That was the chance for months.
Yeah,
But
and
see,
also like the Rock to become the Rock, it had to be like years.
That was the thing though. Vince loved him. Vince loved The Rock from day one. He wanted it was Roman Reigns. We
Yeah.
booed we booed The Rock until The Rock turned heel, and The Rock has 1,000 times more charisma than Roman.
Well, yeah, the Rock is a different
A
story.
million times more charisma than Roman.
Yeah, like at least
And
he
that
knows how to talk, and he's not pushed through our throats.
oh yeah,
Like he's
the
this
Rock,
guy
the Rock.
invincible.
Yeah, look, he put Lesnar over. He put Stone Cold over until Stone Cold was retiring, and then it was his
Triple
turn.
H,
Yeah, you know what I mean. He put people over at
Kurt
least.
Angle.
Yep.
Kurt Angle. So the Rock knew how to do business, and he's not even. I will never compare Roman and the Rock. I don't care if they're family, but I will never compare. Master
But that's what
with
Vince
shit.
does. But that's what I'm
Master
saying.
with shit. That's my
But
comparison.
to me, that's what Vince he sees though. He's like, this is my second coming. This is John Cena and The Rock combined is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and he's completely off the game if he thinks that way. Hopefully, and this is wishful thinking, but you already said it. Roman is going to go against The Fiend for WrestleMania. That's the main program that they have, and that's going to be absolute trash because we're going to get in Roman 2.3. Not even 2.0, 2.3, 2.4, because we keep seeing the same main event every single time. Hopefully, they plans change because we have a few months for WrestleMania yet. So hopefully something happens because I'm hearing that
But
the other program for the WWE Championship is either Brock Lesnar against Cain Velasquez or Tyson Fury. And you think that AEW is not going to do anything with that. So we washes our hands, and we actually going to go off because, we want to at least go out, have a beer, because this show actually wants me want to drink. Because we both feel drink after watching this kind of show. So by saying drink, we want to say a big shout out to our friend and my Stonecutter partner, John Stevenson. We want to say his birthday is tomorrow. In like 45 minutes,
happy
so
birthday.
we wish you the best.
Drink.
So happy birthday. Thanks for supporting Road Break. And Jean Paul, you and me, we're just going to go and have a drink. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to watch the rest of the videos that we have. Like I said again, we have Monday Night Raw, we have Dynamite, we have NXT. You can follow us where, Jean Paul?
We got Twitter, Facebook, obviously here on YouTube, Instagram as well. We just started up the Instagram, so I mean we got it all. Follow us,
We got
regular
it all, guys.
regular updates. Like tomorrow, We might have something for you. Definitely Sunday. We'll try to cook something up for you guys. But
Yeah,
you
we
know,
gotta
stay
cook
stay
because
tuned. You know, we always have all the weekly shows. They'll always be here. You know, preview and predictions sometime next week for TLC as well. So you
we
know,
will
we
do
got it all.
preview and predictions. We'll be there with results, all the shows, and we have a lot of things cooking. Just give us time. Let us buy the ingredients. Let us start mixing it up. You guys know that that takes time. But we're always gonna be bringing the best content possible for all of you. So keep subscribing, keep following, and also keep giving us feedback. So John Paul, in the name of you and myself, we go and please enjoy your weekend, guys. We'll be back with you guys very, very soon. So stay tuned. So John Paul, you and me.
Ada.